I just don't know what to do here. It's so bad. Right, I'll see you later. Today is a really busy day and I'm already running late and it's 6:30 in the morning. How can you run late at 6:30 in the morning? Well, the reason is I'm working miles away again and I need to get more materials, so we're off to the wholesalers. So today I am installing 2 EV chargers. I wouldn't normally do 2 in a day, but this is slightly different because the first one I had to replace a consumer unit as well, which I've done yesterday, and I've ran the EV Ultra cable through the loft space to the charging position and to the consumer unit. So I just need to connect it up and do the commissioning bit. The cable run's done. And then the second one, well, I don't know yet. The second one is going to be one of these classic jobs where my client says he's bought all the materials, including the charger, and all I need to do is install it. This never goes well. But we shall see. We shall see. The trouble with my second job is where my client said he's got everything, I just know he hasn't. There's so many materials that are required in these jobs that people don't know about. They just don't know because they haven't done the job before and they just don't realise. So I'm going into this job completely blind, where I haven't got any photos, I'm just going on his word. You just got to be over prepared for these sort of things, and it's not the way that I like to work, if I'm honest. So what we have at this property is this is the new consumer unit that I have installed. And before it was an absolute mess. And we've got the EV Ultra cable prepared here, clipped down the wall, which goes down that cavity. Then it goes up in a loft space, which is up here. And then we've got the cable dropped down here, and we're going to disguise that by clipping it just in this gap, and it's going to come round to the EV charging position just here. Now, I know at my next job I'm going to, they've also had a new consumer unit installed. What I'll do is I'll whip the cover off mine and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll have a comparison on this other job of what their new consumer unit looks like. I also have created a short video on me changing this consumer unit, and I'll leave a link below. So this is my new consumer unit installed, all dressed nicely, and we have the gland here prepared for the EV Ultra cable. Sometimes it's quite hard to dress consumer units when it's not like a new build. You're limited to the length of the cable that you've got, so this is the best I could do with what I had. I keep finding this thing in my van. Oh God, look at it, it's hidden away now. It's found itself a little bed. Oh God. Okay, so we're on the outside part now. We're going to install the charger, but the weather looks like it's definitely coming in, so I'm going to build myself a little house in the back of the van, make sure I can keep my tools dry at the very least. And these are brilliant, these things. And I'd leave a link in the description, but I don't get any commission or anything, so I'm not going to. Only joking. If you put in Google and search for like van rear door canopy or something like that, it will come up. I'll have a quick look. If I can see it, I'll pop it in the description. But yeah, they're absolutely mustard. They're brilliant. And it's super important to keep your tools dry. So what I'm going to do in order to disguise this cable the best I can, I need to obviously drill in between this gutter and this post, which there's no room, so I'm going to whip the gutter brackets off, move the guttering over so I can do that. Again, it's just, I can't leave somewhere without leaving it with the best finish that I possibly can with what I've got, because it's really important to me. I'd do the same if it was my house, so why would I do it any worse anywhere else? And I don't know what's with the weather at the minute, but it's constantly raining. And I've had some fantastic clients yesterday and today, the people where I'm at now. But I made a fatal error. They offered me some angel cake, and I love cake, and I forgot to eat it. So I don't think I'll be seeing any more of that today. It's like the old cup of tea. If you refuse your cup of tea, you're not going to get another one. At a stage now where I've got my EV charger mounted and I'm ready to go. But what I wanted to show you was when you've got this data cable, it just looks a bit scruffy here where you strip it back. So I'm going to show you something that I like to do, which is just one of those little finishing touches, just makes all the difference to me. It's very important. I've got my phone here recording as well because I'm recording it short, so you just have to excuse that. I'm trying to film a million things, trying to be a human octopus. That's the way it is if you're doing social media. So I've got this heat shrink here and I'm just going to measure it to where I want it. I only need a little bit, just chop that. Use the wrong cutters for that really, but the others give it a cleaner cut. And then we'll place it over the top. Phone just fell over. Tell you what, filming when it's wet and windy, I'm trying to make shorts, I'm trying to make videos for TikTok, I'm trying to make YouTube videos. It's hard work. So anyway, what I have here is my Makita heat gun, and I've got a little attachment here. It's a nice little curved one, which means that I can shrink the heat shrink around the cable without having to move it too much. It's really good. I'll show you. See if I can do this. So hopefully you can see that. And when you're doing heat shrink, when I used to do a lot of cable jointing, we used to start in the middle and then you'd work your way to one end and then you'd work your way back the other end. What this means is that you don't get any air bubbles left in it. Just nice and slowly, just take your time, make your way around it. And then without burning your hand, you can just feel to make sure that it's all shrunk down, which it is. Top work. Now all I do is I just, on this installation, there's no solar or batteries that's coming in the future, so we've got 4 pairs here in this Cat 5. I'm going to use the brown and the white for the dynamic load management. In the future, I normally use the green and the white for the solar, blue and white for battery, and then you've got an orange spare for whatever. So all I do is just fold those back and just put a little bit of tape around them. I don't want to heat shrink them down because I want them to be accessible in the future. So just a little bit of tape and we're all good. I like to use the same colour tape as well. I'm really fussy about this sort of stuff. So we've got grey Cat 5, grey heat shrink, grey tape. Nice and tidy. And then all I do is untwist the brown and the white, not too far, strip the ends back with my croppers. Every Spark has a pair of these CK croppers. It's just like the go-to tool. If you're using a Spark and he hasn't got one of the set of these, he's not a Spark. And then all I do is just keep this nice and tidy and tuck it around the back. Let me show you actually. And then here we have the CT connections. You've got CT1, CT2 and CT3. For the dynamic load management, I just use CT1. Yes, these Cat 5s are longer than what they need to be, but you never know when if this charger gets changed in the future. Hopefully there'll be enough slack on it for whatever charger is installed. So there's nothing wrong with that, that's absolutely fine. And we've got these cables here all ferruled up, ready to go. So now we are ready for testing and get this wrapped up. Right, I'm at a stage now where I've done my live testing through my cable, which means I'm going to stick the front cover on now. And torque her up. Don't forget to use your torque screwdriver in order to keep the warranty validated. I've had a bit of a nightmare so far today. It's just going to be one of those days. I use some software called Notability and I do all my notes on it. It's really, really good. But it done an update yesterday, last night, and I lost all my notes. I had a give up moment, put it down, and I've opened up the app today and all my notes need to download now, and there's hundreds. So I've left that in my client's house to try and download. So I'm back to paper and pen today. Sometimes you just can't beat paper and pen. I'm a little bit under pressure with time, but I'll run you through it quick. So in here we have the new consumer unit, all done. New 100 amp isolator, EV Ultra cable installed. All this tidied up, I'll show you what it looked like before. And then the cable is hidden up there. It's clipped with the D-line EV Ultra fixings on the joist. Come down there, we hid that quite nicely, I think, down the wall, so you can't even see it. And then we're round to the charger. So I've just got to commission this with my customer now, just get the app set up. I've connected to the internet, all the testing's done. Get this all wrapped up, and then I need to head off to my next job. I've also learned it's got battery storage and solar. I've got no idea how I'm going to integrate this yet with the cable runs. I don't know where anything is. It's going to be crazy. Keep watching. I just don't know what to do here. It's so bad. So basically what's happened is this gentleman's moved into this house, and prior to them moving in, there's been some renovations and I don't know, the relationship broke down or whatever, and they've moved. And it's had like a rewire done, but it's really bad. And the guy's just struggling to get it all sorted, to be honest, and I sympathise. So I'm just going to do everything I can to get this as tight as I can, but there's certainly going to be some notes left on the certificate, because it's just the worst possibly I've ever seen. I need to be a little bit discreet with this one. I've got permission off my client to record this. I'm obviously not going to disclose any personal information, but I'll show you what I'm dealing with inside, and I'll limit the filming to outside if I can, but it's really, really bad. So this is where his battery storage system is installed, and we've got an EV Ultra cable hanging out the wall here, which we're going to install on this wall here. The other thing that concerned me immediately was that, as you can see, this is a pathway here, but it's not a public highway. So he owns this, and along with this land here, and this is where he parks his vehicle. So, you know, I don't have to worry too much about that, thankfully. But that's the least of my worries at the minute. I'll show you inside the meter cupboard. Oh. And now we're in the loft space. So my EV cable is run down there. I need to clip it down there. But then I'm faced with this. What do you do? So I think my plan of action is I'm going to get that EV Ultra cable clipped with the D-line fixings. So that's fire rated and supported up in the loft. And then I'm just working at the other end and this end. I'm probably going to have to maybe do some tidying up in that consumer unit, I don't know. But we have agreed that obviously that needs to be sorted, so I'll probably end up coming back on another day to strip that consumer unit out and redo it basically. So that all we can do is what we can do. So I think we better just get on with it. I'm going to have to walk away from this. After seeing what I've seen, you know, I've clipped the cable along the loft and I've just seen exposed live cables. There's electric shock risk there. You've got meter tails just lashed across in the roof space. There's too much exposed. I can't issue a certificate for this. So I think I'm just going to have an honest chat, a brutal chat if I'm honest, and just say how it is. Because I can't do this. This needs to be rectified, whether I do it or someone else. By issuing that certificate, I'm saying that certain things are safe and it's not. It's simply not. And if anything, I should write a notice of danger, which I think I'm going to do. So I'm definitely going to upset some people now. But I'm never going to sleep well at night knowing that I've done this installation. There's more to this job than just the money. I'd rather walk away, 100%. I've walked away. So I've had a really awkward chat, but it was the right thing to do. And I've gone around with my camera, my notepads, and I've taken photos of everything that's dangerous and needs fixing before I carry out my job. I've seen stuff like there's an old consumer unit that's been used as a junction box for the cooker circuit. There's just live buzz bar exposed, broken junction boxes, there's single insulated cables like connector blocks doing loft lights. The whole thing is an absolute mess. I've never seen anything like it. So I've just been completely and brutally honest and explained everything, and you know what, they're really nice people and they appreciate everything that I've said, and they appreciate that it was a difficult thing for me to do, really, to stand there and tell them how bad their electrics are. So moving forward, they've agreed that they want me to carry out the remedial works, which I'm going to do in a couple of weeks. So if you want to see it and you want to see how I fix this and how much better it's going to be, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It's going to be a good one. You're going to see a lot of crazy stuff that I'm going to sort out, and then obviously we'll get the EV charger done as well. That's where we are with that. I've got 2 EV site visits to do now, and then we're heading home to get the certification done for the consumer unit and the EV charger that I've done over the last 2 days. Never ending, but we'll get there, and I'll let you know what these site visits, how they turn out. Hopefully they're going to be nice. That is both site visits done. The first one, they're going to go for a Zappi. It's quite an awkward cable run, so that'll be interesting. And the second one, they just want a basic, simple charger, sort of plug and go, don't care about much, just want it to work for a hybrid car. So we are going to be quoting for an EVEC charger. So if I haven't done a video on an EVEC charger, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to go home, get cleaned up, get these quotations put out, get all my certification done for the jobs that I've done today, and I'll see you on the next one.